Oliver, this is for you. Earlier this year in Jan, the UAE announced changes in the rules where companies cannot come and promote their token sales. And they said that they have to route it through VCs, right? Why do you think they did that?
I mean, as Tom already said, there's no regulation in place either for exchanges or for tokenization of assets. So that's the reason why, at least what we faced, and I also was managing director for Crypto Aces in the DMCC. We onboarded over 1,200 companies, and some people that came just with wrong expectations to the UAE, what is possible to do here. So, but what went out very early was then that they have a footprint somewhere else in Europe, for example in Switzerland, Liechtenstein, Estonia, Lithuania, or Portugal at this time. Yeah, and they just have then here a legal entity of maintenance their tokens or their tokenomics. Principally, if you have an, let's say, proprietary trading license, you are able to buy and to sell your own tokens. Yeah, so there has been nothing changed. So from this side, I think the free zones, at least some of them, wherever it was able to create something where they did now, it will be not regulated in the future. Yeah, they tried to do it, and that was the reason what gave the market, at least at the beginning of this year, the end of last year, a maintenance push. Let's say that people came to Dubai, and Dubai became this hotspot. Yeah, even for let's say business models which would be not regulated here or would be not officially legally regulated here in the UAE.
Now we spoke about the landscape in terms of regulatory aspects. Tell me the landscape in terms of investing aspects. How do you feel that UAE is in terms of investing in projects? You must have a ton of projects coming to you on a daily basis.
Yeah, I mean, Helion Ventures, we have around 200 to 300 projects per month which are coming in. Yeah, let's say not all of them we would support, but at the end of the day, there are very high quality projects under this, let's say, 200 applications what we receive. Now, for me as a VC is a bit different because we trying to allocate our portfolio in a such way that it fits to the strategy what we have. So it means very often we have very good projects, but we cannot finance or can invest in them because it just doesn't fit to our allocation in the portfolio. But principally, I think the investment part in Dubai, all unregulated markets, they have a specific kind of value of chain or chain value, how they develop. And if I look back like 2 years ago when I came here, and Tom, maybe you remember, and we've been to the DIFC, we spoke a regulated product. I mean, this was something completely new, you know, we really were saying, oh, what they want to do, digital, this and that. So this has been changed a lot, but also the investors has been changed. Yeah, like 1.5 years ago, we most likely had high network individuals who had Bitcoins or Ethereum, whatever, yeah, and everything was bullish, so they just invested, yeah. So then second step was more family offices, let's say, which we are still in, yeah, and the third stage, but this I don't see at the moment, will be the regulated products for the institutional investors. So we are at the moment somewhere between. So if we talk about investments, it's very important to understand from a startup side that at the let's say at the presentation or the deck what I have been presented like 2 years ago doesn't fit anymore to the investors which I have nowadays on the market. Yeah, and from this side, in general, I think we have a lot of good startups here, but the startups, they only have a footprint still in Dubai because the regulation is not in place, and it's not only the regulations, also the environment about opening bank accounts and all these kinds of things. Yeah, so they most likely have a footprint here in Dubai, and from the investor side, it's like this. I would say there are some serious investors now in Dubai, yeah, also which are operating, let's say, on a more professional level, as this was the case maybe 1.5 or like 2 years ago. And I think altogether, even in this beer market, what helps us, you see that more professional investors, yeah, more educated investors are coming on the market, and then there's no big difference as we did used to be. We have a proper due diligence, we check the legal framework, we check the business case, and so on. So from my side, nothing has been changed.
But,
yeah?
we are in a bear market right now. So let me take you to that point. What's your forecast for it? What do you think is going to happen in the near future? And given that, should this be a time to invest, or should this be a time to get rid of some assets and get liquidity for what's coming?
I mean, I would see it from different perspectives. The first perspective is to develop a market. You always need like talents, capital, yeah, and infrastructure. Dubai has all of this. Yeah. So what Dubai is leaking at the moment is in the regulation part, and I think, as Tom already said, we're doing very good with the SVARA committee, and they're really trying to set up something what is sustainable for the future. So, and of course we have to give them this time, because you also have to understand you have to build up this know-how. So where this know-how is existing at the moment, it's maybe Switzerland, it's maybe Liechtenstein, some countries in this world where there's already a regulation in place. But how you to create a regulation if you don't have, let's say, a blueprint? It's difficult. Yeah. So we coming from nothing, and I think that's a kind of Dubai success story, coming from nothing and creating something special. Yeah, and we're all looking forward that this has happened, and it's happened at the moment.
And that perhaps makes it easier, correct? Than comparing with perhaps Europe that has many years of histories, like traditional institutions which are perhaps harder to change. Could that be the case?
I think the case in Dubai is very simple. Decisions make done from a couple of persons, and then it gets executed, and this is how it's supposed to be. So of course in Europe it's a bit the opposite way. It's more from the bottom up. Yeah, it has also its advantages that you get very detailed regulations at the end of the day. And as these are very old economies, they are slowly, but the regulations what are done are most likely very detailed. So even we will get, in my opinion, even we will get a regulation in Dubai, this will be still needs a lot of adjustments.